We have in studio Dr. Tony Obing, who is saying this will boost Ghana's economic growth and become a game changer. And he's here with me and he'll be telling us how this will be. Dr. Obing, you're welcome to News Desk. We're grateful to have you and congratulations on your new role. How's it been so far?
Thank you very much, Isia. Yes, it's a learning situation now. Fortunately, I have a good background in these areas. I've worked, as you know, at the Minerals Commission before, but I've worked at the operations of a mine before, where we have had to deal with some of these opportunities and challenges, so to speak. So at the moment, I am learning from those who are there and reading report and making sure that I'm abreast with the situation. But I'm excited and thankful to the president for the opportunity. And
just before, when we went on the break, we were having this conversation. This is the biggest in Africa, you say?
Yes, in fact, this will be the first in Africa.
Okay.
And it will be, once we be the first, the size will not even matter because it will be the biggest.
What is the Petroleum Hub?
Okay, very good question, because anytime people have confronted me, they say, what is the Petroleum Hub? What is it about? It is a free zones-like situation, space that is created for the private sector to invest in the down and midstreams of a petroleum food chain.
Okay.
Now it allows, in fact, according to the plan, you have space for the building of refineries, jetties, that is kind of harbors where ships can berth and offtake and all that. And then they're going to also build petrochemical industries. We are also creating space for, I've mentioned refineries, I've mentioned tank farms, jetties, and all that. But there are also social amenities that is going to be provided. You have hotels, you have accommodation facilities that will be provided for those who will be working there and all that. And obviously, for this to come off properly and in the quality that the president envisages, you see that you need good roads, good infrastructure, and really change of the area where this has been earmarked.
How much is this going to cost us?
Well, I think you can give me a bit if I told you, but
I don't have that amount.
But you don't know, so you probably, if I mention, you tell me.
Obviously, we're talking about refineries, jetties, and ports. My salary won't be able to afford.
All right. So we actually, when everything comes on full throttle, we are talking about $60 billion.
Wow.
$60 billion. So an investment of $60 billion would really bring this into effect. But we need to underscore the fact that this is a private sector-led activity. Right. It's not government looking for 60 billion and then building all these facilities. I was about to ask where that money is. What government is doing is to facilitate the development of the hub by acquiring piece of land, by creating, building infrastructure that will make the place attractive enough, and then also creating the general environment that will make investment in the area attractive. Right. So that's the government's role. That's what we are doing. Government have access to do.
Made it easy for you.
Exactly. And President Mahama actually thinks that we should accelerate it. Okay. We need to accelerate, because if you look at the picture, the big picture of the hub, I think it's a complete game changer. Yeah. Even the mining industry may not go closer to it. It's going to be a huge thing. Can you believe that if it comes to full blossom, we are looking at about 780,000 employment.
Wow.
780,000 employment. So for a hub to do that, it is only perhaps a total of the government departments that can, or small scale mining that can actually challenge this type of employment. It cannot be a small joke over there. Right. And then, of course, it will heat up the economy of this country, given the massive investment in that area. Imagine we have a jetty, ships will come in and come and either bring in crude for processing or take refined product for distribution.
And that brings to mind the Tema oil refinery that has been more or less like a ghost of itself currently. Are there plans to revive that?
Yeah, I think government has some people looking at that. I mean, it used to work.
Yes.
Tema Oil Refinery.
I lived in Tema, so I know how Tema Oil Refinery
some 8-9 years ago, before the President Mahama won, before he left, the toll was working. In fact, crude was being imported from other places for processing.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to it. I don't know why we abandoned it. But I believe that with the return of President Mahama, I would not be surprised if that place start working again.
Right.
But that does not, the toll will be there, and then the hub will also be there. The hub will also include tank farms,
right,
where you can store several millions of oil, either for the country or for other countries who choose to keep their security, oil over there.
Right, and that brings to mind the issue about environmental and sustainability concerns. Are there plans for that? Absolutely.
I mean, in fact, if you look at the objectives of creating this hub, sustainability is essential.
Right.
In fact, we've done a lot of impact assessment, and the EPA would be actively involved. In fact, it has been actively involved in the initial acquisition and would continue to be actively involved in that. It is important this day and age that ESG becomes central to whatever you do, including the development of the hub.
There's something very important I'd like to ask. Within this 4-year period that you have this mandate, will this hub be able to materialize fully within this period?
Yeah. First, the proposed life for the construction, for the development is 10 years. So within 10 years, we should have, everything should be in place within 10 years. But it can be accelerated depending upon some conditions that we meet as a country. For instance, if the acquisition of land is completed, fully completed, that will provide some confidence to investors. In fact, there are a lot of investors lined up, even in the short time that I've been in the office.
How many?
I've seen people calling and wanting to know about the hub, people calling and showing interest to invest. But investors are cowards. They want to put their investment where they are safe, where they feel very safe.
Of course.
So, and land is a major factor. And so once the land issue has been resolved, and I know President Mahama is keen to getting this thing resolved, it will provide about 70% confidence, because they know Ghana already. Ghana is a very stable country. Ghana is an investor-friendly country, and the quality of human resources is good and all that. So that is not the issue. The issue is making sure that we have the environment in terms of land.
Okay, so land is a major concern.
At the moment.
At the moment.
Yeah.
Well, you've been in the office a few days now. What has been the steps you've taken already in getting this established?
Yes, so that's one thing that we are working on. We have started engaging with the Nananums. In fact, last Friday I was in Takoradi to meet with the Regional House of Chiefs, all of whom pledged their support. They know the benefit. They've seen the picture. They have the vision of the hub. I told them that they're going to get the Rotterdam of Jomoro. Okay. So it's going to be Jomoro Rotterdam very soon, or Las Palmas if you like. And that's kind of vision that we are all looking at. So we are speaking with them. Government is actually actively looking for resources to do that. And we at the hub are also looking at options, even if we can have a private sector pre-financing the payment of the compensation. And that's where we are actually...
Which is really important.
Yes, that's what we are looking at. So once we are successful with that angle, or if government comes up, and you see, the good thing is that the total amount that I've seen is 1.2 billion
for
cedis.
Compensation.
Yes, and it should be done within 4 years.
Okay.
So it means that 300 million every year.
How many people are we anticipating are going to receive this compensation?
I know that it's going to affect about 1,000 people. So, and you see, compensation is a very complex activity. You have a stool land, you have individuals, family lands, you have people who have specific interests. Somebody may have his farm there and all that.
Yeah.
So all these things would have to be, fleshed out and dealt with. Fortunately, I've had the opportunity to deal in my previous times with some of these compensation issues, particularly with the resettlement in the mining industry. So it provides us with lessons to be learned,
right,
so that you avoid the mistakes over there, and then you ensure that the people are, because once you do that, the people would have full support for the project. Yes.
Indeed. And then what role does the HAB play in Ghana's long-term energy security? We playing towards renewable energy and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very interesting question. First one is that we want to ensure that you have, especially with the building of tank farms, which means that we'll have enough oil. And the oil must not necessarily come from our Jubilee field or our own oil field. It could be oil from other places that are coming to be that are going to be refined over there. So and stored here. So that might assure us of some level of supply. And then again, our ministry. Our ministry, we are under Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, which means that they are also looking at how to enhance green energy along with the fossil fuel.
Right.
And I tell you, the issue of fossil fuel is not going away anytime soon. And even if it did go away sooner, petrochemical industry is also there, fertilizer industry is also there, and it's also part of the hub. So that assurance is there once it is, if we have that much oil that is being stored, then we can't go hungry of oil.
Just before you go, I have very little time to wrap up this interview. I just want to know from you, how accessible is investment to local investors? Because really, I know this is very capital intensive, and often it's the international investors that have the leeway. But for locals who are willing to invest, what's the percentage given to them?
Absolutely. I mean, the investment has no color. And my preference would be to have more local involvement.
Some advantage given to
local
the
advantage, there's a lot of advantage in this whole process. Some tax waivers and all that, and even for some regulatory requirement, the investor himself doesn't have to do that directly. The hub would have to facilitate that. So there are a lot of advantage. But again, there is an encouragement for local investment. In fact, to participate in, and then local people who have some source of investment for that must come together. Those who cannot come as individuals.
So for somebody like a salaried worker like me, do I stand a chance of investing in this house?
Why not? People are going to salaried worker. Well, I don't know your salary, so I cannot argue. But what I'm going to say is that there's going to be construction of road. There's going to be construction of houses, hotels, supply of water and all those things. So there's room for local investors, except that they should gather themselves very well, even if it means consortium, putting yourself together, and then coming forward for the opportunity. And we are going to be drumming in more on this. Look, I'm sure if you go to our website, you will see more information. The Petroleum Hub website, you will have more information on how to be part of this. How to pitch in the right word. So, Ghanaians, we are inviting all of you to come together and then take part in this hub, which promises to be a game changer.
Exciting. Thank you so much, Dr. Tony Obing, CEO of the Petroleum Hub. And at this point, we'll take a break. We'll return with business.